All right, y'all. This lesson covers the support for math reasoning to sections A, B, and C. So it's sort of like a support that's going to get you ready for the sections of this next chapter. So I'm going to share my screen and go through problems like you'll see in the homework. So remember, the support is getting us ready for the actual MR class, okay? So I'm going to share my screen to my pad. So now you see my screen, and on here it says support for 2ABC. So question number 1 said simplify the expression, and they're giving me 10 to the third times 10 to the negative 6. So anytime you're multiplying things that have the same base, so these 10s are what we call the base, we got a rule that says if you got something that has the same base being multiplied, then you would add the exponents together to get your final answer. So the bases match, you bring that base over, and then you do A plus B to get the final answer. So these bases match, so I would write my 10, and then I would take that 3 plus that negative 6. So now 10 comes down because that's still my base and that's still what's being hit with those exponents. So now you got 3 plus negative 6. When you're adding numbers that have unlike signs, positive 3's and negative 6, you take the bigger number and subtract the smaller number. So 6 minus 3 is 3. Now, since the larger number is negative, your answer has to be negative. So your answer when you're adding and subtracting has to have the same sign as the larger number when you're dealing with unlike signs, okay? So that was just getting you ready for scientific notation later on, okay? Just remember, when you multiply, you add the exponents. Now the second one said, answer the following question involving a conversion within the USCS system. So that's United States Conversion System. So they're telling me a boat is moving 44 miles per hour. What is the speed in knots? And then they're telling me that a knot is a nautical miles per hour. So they want me to go from 44 miles per hour and convert that to nautical miles per hour. So they both end in hours. So it looks like I'm going to be converting miles to nautical miles. That'd be something in the water, right? All right, so let me tell you what this means. You got 44 miles per hour. So per means dividing, okay? So when you got miles per hour, it's like miles over hours. Now we want to convert that to nautical miles per hour. So the first thing we got to do is find a conversion between miles and nautical miles. Now, on page 89 of the ebook, you'll find some conversions, okay? Um, so let me get my page. Okay, so some conversions I found in there that would help me out is that 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. And I also found out that 6,076.1 feet equals a nautical mile. So y'all, this is on page 89 of your ebook, okay? Okay, so I couldn't find any conversions between miles and nautical miles, so I had to try to convert into something they both had. So y'all watch what I'm going to do. This is what we call dimensional analysis or conversions. And we try to do conversions based on these units, okay, like miles per hour is a unit. So watch this. I can go from miles to feet. So for every 1 mile, it is 5,280 feet. So what that's going to do, that's going to cancel my miles out. So now I've got stuff in units of feet per hour. So watch this. I had one over here that told me there was 6,076.1 feet for every nautical mile. So down here we would put 6,076.1 feet, and then this would be 1 nautical mile. Okay, so remember, this is on to the side of that, okay? That's just where I was putting my conversions, so I sort of got a little crunchy here. But I got everything I need up here, right? Because my miles cancel, my feet are going to cancel, so the only units left when I'm done is going to be my nautical miles on top, and then my hours is still left on the bottom. See, I didn't have to try to convert out of hours because they both ended in hours up here. All I had to do was turn my miles into nautical miles. So watch what I did. I had miles on top. So I said, well, every mile is that many feet. So the miles canceled. So then I had feet up here, right? So then I said, well, okay, there's this many feet in a nautical mile. That way my feet canceled and my nautical miles are on top. All right, so what you would do to this would probably break out that calculator because those are pretty big numbers. Everything on top gets multiplied. So you got 44 times 5,280. Right, that turn my miles into feet. So for every mile is 5,000 something feet. So look how many feet you end up with. But now you take everything on top and we're going to divide by the bottom because that's how many total feet I got. So let's divide by the 6,076.1 feet on the bottom, and that'll put it in terms of nautical miles. So we go out of miles into feet, and then from feet to nautical miles. And y'all, I'm going to round this. Let's see. They're rounding it 1 decimal place. So this would be 38.2 because that 3 is less than a 5. I don't round up. I leave it the same. Nautical miles, or it could be 38.2 knots. Because up here they told me knots was nautical miles per hour. Okay, so that's basically what you do. You try to convert units and you find how many of the units equal to other units on that. And that chart, like I said, is on page 89 in that book. All right, well, this is sort of like a little logic question coming up. So listen to this. You can buy a hair product in a 10-ounce bottle, so 10-ounce bottle for $3.40. Or you can buy 8-ounce bottle for $2.64. Which is the better deal? So y'all, let me tell you what I would do. I got 10 ounces and I'm paying $3.40 for. So I would take this total amount that I'm going to spend for 10 ounces, which is 3.40, and I would divide by how many ounces I paid that for, which was my 10. Okay, so I'm really finding how much money per ounce. So let's see, 3.40 divided by 10 is going to give me 0.34, which is 34 cents. So this one is 34 cents per ounce. So let's check out this one. You paid $2.64. And on it, you had 8 ounces. So if we take the total price, divide by how many ounces we had, we'll get the other one's price per ounce. So here we go. 2.64 divided by 8 equals 0.33 per ounce. Now remember, if you're doing these by hand, you would take your 3.40 and divide by 10. All right, 10 don't go into 3, so you write a 0. And then you would see 10 goes into 34 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. And notice I left the decimal in the same place it was down here. And then you would subtract. 34 minus 30 leaves me 4. Bring down to 0. And then 10 goes into 40 4 times. 4 times 10 is 40. 0 remainder. Okay, so there's my 34 cents. And then the same thing here, you would do 2.64 divided by 8. So 8 don't go into 2, so that'd be a 0. And remember to put that decimal. So then you say, well, 8 go into 26. 8 will go into 26 3 times. So 3 times 8 is 24. All right, then you subtract 24 from 26 is 2. Bring down that last 4. And then here we go. 8 goes into 24 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. 0 remainder. So that's how they got to 33. So it looks like to me, the better deal is the one where I'm paying 33 cents per ounce. So that would be what? The 8 ounces for $2.64. Okay, so you see how I did that? I just figured out each one of them's price per ounce, and then I compared that. And 33 cents is less to spend than 34. Now, if I was selling it, I'd probably want to do this, right? But I'm not selling it, I'm buying it, okay? All right, so here comes number 4. All right, this one has 1.93 kilograms, and they're going to say that equals blank grams. All right, so this all goes back to converting the grams into kilograms. So remember, grams is your base unit, and then going above it, you have what? Your kilograms way up here, right? Oh, let me see, y'all. This had a this is a kg here for kilogram. So 1.93 kilograms is how many grams? So if you got a kilogram here and a gram here, you got to look at your what is it? Your chart that deals with these kilograms, hectograms, decagrams. And then below it, you got what? Decigrams, centigrams, and milligrams. So between each one of these is powers of 10. Okay? Powers of 10. And then going this way, they differ by powers of 1/10 in between each level. So to go from your base level of grams to kilograms, you go up a power of 10 times 10, which is 100, times 10, which is 1,000. So for every kilogram, that's going to be 1,000 grams. So can you do that on this like we did a while ago? Sure. You can take the 1.93 kilograms and set up your chart. Nothing on the bottom because it's just kilograms, right? But what do we know? We know for every kilogram there is 1,000 grams. So y'all, the kilograms are going to cancel. I'm going to end up with grams. So 1.93 times 1,000 is going to give me 1,930 grams. Okay, so that's all you do to it. Now, if they went down this way, you're also going to have the same issue. Like there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram, there's 1,000 milligrams in a gram. And they just go like that up or down, okay? All right, next, let's see, number 5. So they just want to get you used to this conversions. And we'll play with that in class more, okay? As the year goes. 5 wants me to multiply. 1/7 times 1/2. I will say this, when it comes to fractions, the easiest operation is multiplying. Because to multiply, you don't need a common denominator. When you multiply, it's top times top, bottom times bottom. So top times top is 1 times 1, which is 1. In the bottom, 7 times 2 is 14. So top times top, bottom times bottom. Another multiply. 5/9 times 7/11. Okay, so it's going to be the same thing, right? Straight across, top times top is 35. And then 9 times 11 is 99. Now you want to look at that and see if it'll simplify. But let me tell you a little trick. If either one of these numbers can simplify with either one of these numbers, that means this would have simplified, okay? But look, 5, you can't reduce a 5 with a 9 and 11. 7, you can't reduce a 7 with a 9 or 11. So since you can't reduce nothing there, we know that 35/99 is our final answer. And if you're doing calculators, watch this. Put them fractions in parentheses. 5 divided by 9, close those parentheses, and in parentheses, 7 divided by 11, close parentheses. When you hit enter, you're going to get a decimal, but to turn a decimal back into a fraction, you hit math and enter twice, and I got what? 35/99, okay? So that's how you sort of check yourself with that calculator. 7 is multiply. 5/11 times 7/6. All right, y'all. So once again, we want to multiply straight across. So top times top. 5 times 7 is 35. Bottom times bottom. 11 times 6, 66. Once again, since 5 can't reduce with these numbers, 7 can't reduce with these numbers, we're done. Final answer. All right, so let's see. This one says, choose a word name for the number. And the number they're giving me, the average age of all horses in the country is 14.25 years. So here's the thing. We're going to learn place value. So here's your decimal. Anything to the left of the decimal, let's see how these places. This first unit is called the ones unit, right? This goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next unit, you get the tens, right? That adds 10 to every number. The third unit is the hundreds. Hundreds. Hundred. The next unit would be the thousands. Okay, they're all going up. Y'all know this side. But to the right side, the first unit after is what we call the tenths with a TH at the end. It's like 1/10. So we call these tenths right there. Next, you would have what we call the hundredths with a TH after it. Next would be the thousandths with a TH after it. This is like 1/10, 1/100, 1/1,000, and so on. But everything to the right will have a TH after it because they're smaller than 0 up here, okay? And and the reason it starts with tenths, because anything over itself would just be 1 anyway, so it'd be on that side, okay? So you got your ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. To the right, you got your tenths, hundreds, thousands. Now, in words, that decimal really means and. So the way I would write this in words is 14 and 25 . Okay, I'm 2 decimal places over here, and we said 2 decimal places over here was hundredths. So this would be 25 hundredths with a TH and an S, okay? And that's all you're doing to those. If it would have been 0.2, that would have been 2 tenths. If this would have been 253, that would have been 253 thousandths. All right, then the next ones, we're going to convert some more stuff like we did earlier. So they want me to take 85 feet and turn that into how many inches? So for that one, I'm going to use the fact that 1 foot equals 12 inches, right? So you're starting with 85 feet, nothing on the bottom because it's only 1 unit. And I know a conversion unit right here for every foot. And see, I got to put the feet on bottom so they'll cancel. And then up here would be 12 inches. Well, that makes sense. Since feet are bigger than inches, this better be a whole lot of numbers up here. Okay? Now watch this. These feet cancel. So all we got to do is figure out what 85 times 12 is. 85 times 12. That's going to give me 1,020 inches. I'm now in inches because that's the units that are left. Right, number 10. 95 yards equals blank inches. Now, I don't have a yards to inches conversion in the book for me on that. That'd be on that page 89 stuff. But I do know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So watch what I'm going to do. I got 95 yards. And I know up here I can do what? Feet and inches. So sometimes you have to do an in between to get to the other units. So watch this. For every 1 yard, there's 3 feet. Now my yards cancel and I'm left with my feet. Now I can use this one up here that said for every 1 feet, there's 12 inches. Now my feet cancel and look what I'm left with, inches. So now we got to multiply 95 times 3 times 12. When you multiply all that, you get 3,420. What units are left is my inches, just like they wanted. So y'all look, up here I could go straight from feet to inches because of that conversion, but here I couldn't go to yards to inches, so I had to break out the other one that was in the book, going from yards to feet and then from feet to inches, okay? These are fun once you get used to them. All right, 11. 204 inches equals blank feet. Now, let's start with 204 inches. Now, watch the difference on this one. I'm going to turn inches into feet, but I know there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So you see, you got to have these numbers in the right spot. I can't put inches over 12 feet. It's got to be 12 inches per 1 foot. The inches cancel. You're left with feet like you needed. So watch this. Since the 204 is on top and the 12 is on bottom, anything on bottom gets divided by that top. So this will be 204 divided by 12, which gives me 17 feet. Not bad. You see all the ways you got to do these units, right? Here, this one has 4 days equals blank hours. Well, don't we got a conversion? We all know this. 1 day is equal to 24 hours. So we got one conversion on this to get it into what we need. So we start with our 4 days. And watch this. 1 day equals 24 hours. So since everything's on top, it gets multiplied. My days are going to cancel. So all we got to do is figure out 4 times 24, which should be what, 96 hours. So some of these, y'all know these conversions, okay? All right, this one wants me to round 0.201 to the nearest hundredth. Hundredth. It ends in a TH, so they're talking about to the right. So remember, this is the tenths. This is the hundredths. So I'm rounding it to the second decimal place. So it's going to be 0.2. Now, do I keep it a 0 or do I make it a 1? Since this last number here after the 0 is less than 5, I leave the 0 the same. Had that been a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I would have turned that 0 into a 1. But remember, tenths, hundredths, this would even be the thousandths next, okay? Oh, look, thinking of thousandths, here comes one. Round to the nearest thousandths. And this one just says round to nearest thousandths with a TH. And the number is 0.4632. All right, so here we go. That's my tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So I'm looking at the third decimal place. That means I need to look at the fourth decimal place to determine if I keep it the same or if I move it up. Well, since this one here is 5, not 5 or greater, it's less than 5, I leave the 3 the same, so I'll be 0.463. All right, y'all. A few more of these. We're going to keep practicing them. 15 says, round to the nearest thousandths. So round to nearest thousandths with the TH again. All right, what am I on 15? So this one's going to be 45.7038. So I don't care what's on the left side. They want this in the thousandths. So there's my tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Actually, this would be the 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths with the TH, and you keep on going, okay? So I need to round it to this unit. So this one, this time is at least a 5 or bigger. 8's bigger than 5 for sure. So this will be 45.70. The 3 does not stay the same since that's bigger than a 5 or equal to a 5. This means that 3 turns into a 4 and we round up. That's what they mean by rounding up. Whatever accuracy you want, you look at the number behind it, okay? All right, I'm going to round 72.60917 to the nearest 1. So 1 is on the left side of the decimal. That's the 1 spot. The next would be the tens, and then the hundreds, thousands, and so forth. So if I'm going to round to the nearest 1, I need to look at the number right behind it to see if I leave it the same or if I round up. So the 7 does stay the same. This 3 will round up this time since the 6 is at least a 5 or bigger. So instead of 72, this will be 73. And notice if I'm to the nearest 1, there's no decimal left in that answer, okay? That decimal is gone because there's nothing after it. Now this wants to know 180 seconds equals blank hours. So we can get about this because we know we can convert seconds to minutes and then minutes to hours. So watch this. 1 minute equals 60 seconds. And I know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So minutes will be my bridge to go from the seconds to the hours. Okay? Or you could multiply this and say that 1 hour, if there's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, 60 times 60 is 3,600 seconds in an hour. Okay? Now I'm going to use the two-step method because a lot of y'all don't realize this one. But yeah, that's right. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. You multiply all that and you get to 3,600, okay? All righty. So here we got 180 seconds. And I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to do these conversions on one and then that one so you I get the same answer, okay? Now, I got to turn my seconds into minutes, so I know that 60 seconds is 1 minute. So let's see what happens. My seconds cancel, and I'm now in times of minutes. So I need to turn my minutes into hours. So I got that right here. There is 60 minutes in 1 hour. And now the minutes are going to cancel, and I'm left with my hours on top like I needed. All right, now y'all be careful when you multiply and divide this one, because the only thing on top is that 180. So you got your 180, but it's going to have to divide by the bottom, which is 60 times 60. Guess what? 60 times 60 is still going to be that 3,600, right? Now, calculator, you got to put the bottom in parentheses when you got something like this. So you would go 180 divided by parentheses 60 times 60 close parentheses. When you do that, you get 0.05 hours. All right, well, let's think about that. 60 seconds is a minute, right? So if you divided 180 by the 60 seconds to get a minute, you would have 3 minutes. So 3 minutes is basically what, about one, oh, let's see, what did I say that was? 180 divided by 60 was 3. And then watch this, 3 um, minutes based on an hour would be divided by 60. Oh, hold on. Oh, I already had my divide. So divide that by 60, and you get that 0.05, which is basically 5%. Okay. So 0.05 of an hour. Next, let's go to, let's see. And you would think this, it has to be a lot less on the hours, right? That's seconds. You're turning it into hours. All right, y'all, number 18 would be next. Oh, this is a Celsius temperature. Celsius equals 5/9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. Now, there's one of these to figure out Fahrenheit temperatures, and it's Fahrenheit equals 9/5 C plus 32. But y'all probably see that in sciences at least. So they want me to find a temperature when it is 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what I'm going to put in for the F. So this is C equals 5/9. F is 150 minus 32. And I'll do it by hand, and then I'll show you how I do this by calculator. So order of operations, work inside parentheses first. So bring down that 5/9. Inside the parentheses, 150 minus 32 is 118. Now, on the calculator, I would probably put my 5/9 in parentheses. So parentheses, 5 divided by 9. Close those parentheses, and then multiply by 118. And notice I put it in parentheses still. So basically on the calculator, I did that. But the 118 didn't need parentheses. So let's hit enter. And let's see what I get. I got 65 point. Now, if I want around one decimal place, which is pretty much what they're doing in their answers, I got to look at the one after it. So since that's a 5 or greater, that 5 would turn into a 6. So they at least usually want you to round about one decimal place on it. And in the answers, it actually says, hey, round to the nearest 10th. Remember, 10th is one decimal place, okay? All righty, y'all, so not bad. By hand, you could have multiplied and then divided by the 9, and you'd have still got that 65.6. And I believe there was one more. Oh, no, 18 was it. Now, I'm going to put a page up here, because this is the page that's page 89 in the textbook. And I'm going to zoom this in, because if you can't find it in the textbook, you got them right here. Just pause and look here. Here's some of them that I was looking at. Over here's my feet and inches. Right here, it told me my nautical miles. Right here was equal to this many feet. So I went from miles to feet, feet to nautical miles, okay? All these conversions up here. Right here, they're doing cubic feet, tablespoons, teaspoons. But y'all use this, okay? That'll help y'all out on some of them problems when you need to help with your conversions, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop this, and that'll be your support for this lesson, okay? And these are skills we're going to work on during the year. We'll get you good at doing decimals, multiplying them fractions, and all that fun stuff, okay? So we're going to stop this recording, and I'll see y'all next class.